So I certainly hope the last demonstration was useful to you and you're a little bit more comfortable with the PS command. With that done and under your belts, we're now going to delve into the wonderful world of the /proc directory and take a look at that directory, and also we can investigate the $$ variable. You can see when I type pwd, I'm in the proc directory. The proc directory represents then my running processes that I have on my system, as well as maintaining some other files which have current information about our system. If I clear out of here for the moment, if I just use the ls command, we can see that we've got a listing of directories towards the left of the screen. They're all numbered. We can see there that we've got the directory 1. Well, the directory 1 then represents process ID 1, and process ID 1 we can see with ps-p1, and let's get a full listing. We can then go through and see that this is then system D. We can see the full path through to that command. If we were running another operating system, maybe like Ubuntu 14.04, or maybe we were running CentOS 6, then we would find that process ID 1 was the earlier init daemon. If I type ps, we can see then what's running within my current shell, and of course I can see then the process ID for my current shell. But we can also interrogate a variable to find out then the process ID of the currently running process. So if I echo out $, we can see that that does then relate to the bash shell 2781. So we can start building this into scripts if necessary to get the process ID of the currently running process. But we can also then work with this a little bit more dynamically. There's no need for me to go in and interrogate my 2781. I can actually get that dynamically. So if I wanted to get ps-p $, and then we'll get an extra full listing. Why not? I feel generous today. So we can then go through and start seeing the information that relates to my current bash shell. But I didn't need to run the ps command first to identify what was the current process. We can also use this because if I did something like this, cd $, we're actually going to move into then that directory 2781. Again, we can remind ourselves of where we are and what we're talking about. The $$ variable is my currently running process. So of course then /proc $$ will take me through to that directory. And I can interrogate data from this directory, such as if I did an ls-l then on the cwd. We can see then the current working directory for this process. We could go through and work out the executable that we're using. Well, we know it's bash, but /usr/bin/bash. So we can start interrogating this directory, and even for us mere mortal administrators, we are able to establish some basic information about our running process. But we can see we get some information coming back about the running processes. But if I go back to the parent directory, remember I can just use cd space ... So pwd will show that I'm back in the proc directory. We have also got some files that represent resources that are in use. One of the files that I can take a look at, if I go through, let's say, and run the ps command here, we can see then that I've just run the 8498 command. If I go through now and cat out / well, I'm in the proc directory, so I don't need that. We'll just go through and use the load average file. We can see now that we've gone up to 8499, the last process ID used, and that will actually be for the cat command. The cat command would have been at 8499. So if I go through and look at it again, we've now gone up to 8500. So every time I issue a command, I'm running a new process, and we can see the last process ID used in this load average file. The other information that we see, well, is to do with the load of the server. The load over the last 1 minute, the load over the last 5 minutes, and the load average over the last 15 minutes. And we can see then the number of processes that are running in that third column. So there's lots of information that we can start to extract from your Linux system. We just need to know where to look. Now we're going to look at a little bit of death and destruction, if you're okay with that, looking at sending signals to our processes with the command kill.